And hello, you incredible friends. This is your pal, Edwards here, and sales success superstar, Nicole O'Sullivan. How are you today, Nicole O'Sullivan?
I'm fabulous, Ed. How are you?
Now, I've heard that this is your first live stream ever. Is this true?
It is very true. Thank you for the opportunity to get on your live stream. It's an honour.
And I'm so glad that I am your first live stream. It's an honor to have you with us. And one of the reasons why I want to bring Nicole on this live stream is Nicole is a master in sales. So I'm a LinkedIn guy who dabbles in sales. Nicole O'Sullivan is a master in sales. Nicole, you've been working in sales pretty much your whole life. Tell us all about your sales journey and how'd you get here?
Oh, thank you. I know you wouldn't know it was over 20 years, would you?
It's all the cosmetic surgery, right?
yeah, I wish. No, I don't have any cosmetic surgeries. Yes, look, you know what? Sales has been an interesting journey for me, actually. When I first started in sales, I was terrible. I'm surprised I even stayed in the job. Didn't really get the concept of, you know, like I just like talking to people and I like connecting with people, and that's kind of my superpower. And I was very lucky in my journey. Like I'd done a lot of retail and things like that, you know, through university and what have you. But then when I traveled overseas, I got the travel bug and I ended up landing in an amazing career in the travel industry. So I worked with Flights in a Travel Group, which was amazing. And so, you know, now I combine my passion of traveling and getting to talk to people about their holidays, which was the perfect match. So, yeah, that's kind of how I started in sales. And again,
just out of pure interest, and this is just purely interested in travel, what was the most common thing people would purchase from you? What were the common products that people would buy, and what were some of the issues that you dealt with in your flight center role?
Oh, a lot of the time, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, people used to come to us. Oh God, my dog is blind. Sorry, Brownie, come here. She's just newly blind, and she just nearly fell down the stairs. So yes, I guess the challenges that people would normally come to is, you know, they wanted the best price. They wanted to know when's the best time to go. Now you're talking early 2000s is when I started in travel. So, you know, sort of internet was around, you know, like, you know, we had the old paper tickets where, you know, you didn't want to, a lot of the times you get the accidental, oops, I've ripped the wrong slip out. So you'd have to reprint them all. Like, you know, now we just electronically do it on our phone. We don't even think twice about it.
Just on that, I'm showing my age now. I remember when you went to a travel agent, you would get like a travel book of tickets, wouldn't you?
Yes,
they give you like the fancy pack and the travel book. Is that right?
Yeah, remember the old carbon copies and things like that, like the pink copy, the yellow copy. Yep, that's, you know, then if there's no typo on it, if you typoed, you had to send it all the way back, get a little sticker on top. Now you wouldn't have to do that anymore now.
On your phone, right? That's our live stream on our phone.
Oh, look at that. There we go.
Hello, we're live streaming. There we go.
We're live streaming. Oh, it feels
live streaming.
Yeah, so that was kind of like what we did. You know, and then I've obviously you know, you would then have destinations that you would be like, oh God, I don't know where that is, but you'd be excited about like taking on something new and learning something, which was always my approach. Like, you know, hey, I've never been there, but I'm going to learn about it, and I'm really excited that I'm going to be able to send you to somewhere that, you know, I'd love to go. You know, so you kind of just embrace it instead of it being about just, you know, like, oh, I don't know, I've never been, so I can't help you, you know, like some of the times you find that that's probably a bit of a challenge with some people around trying to sell places that they've never been to before and they can't relate. You know, you just got to, it's not about the destination, it's about the excitement that someone's about to have, you know, and you get to help them on that journey.
Got it. So your biggest objection in the travel role was that basically trying to sell a location to someone they haven't been to. Was that the number one objection you would have, so to speak?
Oh, look, I think in every industry, price is certainly an objection. And working at Flight Centre, if everyone remembers, it was the best price guaranteed. So, you know, that a lot of the time you would get, you know, hey, I found this online. Can you beat the price? You know, so a lot of the time price was a draw card in. You know, it was a marketing ploy to throw out to the market to see, hey, we're going to get people to come in because of how good our prices were, and you'd get the odd gripe, every Monday morning or whatever it was, you'd get up and you'd write the cheapest prices on the window boards. It was like Melbourne to Sydney, $29. And you'd go, oh, that's at a 6 a.m. on a Wednesday morning and no one's going to want to do that flight. So, but the whole thing was that at least it brought someone in to ask the question. And then it was up to us as the sales experts to understand what they wanted to know about Sydney and why they wanted to go to Sydney, and then sell the package and forget about the $29 price. It's this price for what time you want to go. So that was a lot of the challenges a lot of people sort of had in that time.
Yeah. And on that note, I know a lot of people who've worked for Flight Centre and been for Flight Centre Corporate, as in the corporate traveller brand. I understand that Flight Centre has some of the absolute best sales training on earth. I've heard that from a lot of people. Can you tell us, what was the sales training like, and what were some of the cool things that they taught you that you can share with us?
Look, Flight Centre are phenomenal with training. Like the toolboxes that they gave us, in terms of, I worked for Flight Centre for 17 years and, I was lucky to work in the United States as well. So, lots of different experiences. There's lots of different brands. And one of their philosophies was the brightness of future, right? And that was really ingrained into us around, we don't want you, it doesn't mean that you have to stay where you want to stay. If you want to grow and expand into different areas within the travel industry and the business, we've got you, we've got your back. So basically all the training that you ever got was really practical. It was really in depth. And I remember doing my disc training. Oh my God, when I first started, I would have been probably a year in. So like early 2000s. And I remember that training like it was yesterday. It was so good, super engaging. It's always very much that, interaction.
And I'm disc certified as well. Like talking to a guy who's disc certified as well. In that era, it would have been amazing, especially early 2000s.
Totally mind-blowing.
that would have been absolute cutting edge back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely, it was. And like I said, the trainer was really engaging, and I remember that like it was yesterday. So like they're those kind of trainings that they really invested in, and they are very much about their people, and which was a great environment to thrive. In my early 20s, I've got the keys to a multi-million-dollar business, and here I am running the business, and I'm like, I hope I don't F it up, like you kind of just go for it. And they trusted you and they backed you and they gave you a lot of support, high support, high expectations. It was a really good mix.
Wow. So today you're a master sales coach. You work with a lot of businesses and individuals. I was going to ask you, tell us today about what are people hungry for in the market? So when people hire you as a sales trainer and educator, what are their biggest problems, and what are the biggest thing they need help from you on?
Yeah, good question. So why I flipped into the sales stream really was because originally it was about the overall business, right? My business is named Bird's Eye View Consulting. So I come in, I take a bird's eye view of the business and understand what's going on. But what was generally happening is a lot of the time is that the trigger or the reason why people reach out is because sales is dipping, right? So sales is starting to go backwards on the P&L. It's like, oh, what's going on with our sales results here? And then when you actually start to unravel the why, that's where I just started to go, okay, this is where I can really help businesses because, I have the leadership qualifications, I have the DISC certifications, I'm a master practitioner in NLP training. So, really getting into the brain here. And it's really about the behavior. So it's kind of going, I actually have this model here. It's called the belief triangle or the triangle of results, I guess. So it's like, it kind of starts around your mindset. So what's your belief around a certain thing? So for example, I put up a post the other day around people saying, I'm over tire kickers. They come in, they waste my time, blah, blah, blah. So think about it this way. If that's your belief around a customer, then your behavior is, oh God, they're wasting my time. So I'm really not going to put any much effort into this. And so the result is they're a tire kicker, right? You've actually put it out there and that's what the result is. And so a lot of businesses work from the top down, right? So a lot of businesses look at and go, we need the result. We need results today. Result. And they go from the top down, right? So they go, we need the result. They give them a sugar high or they dangle a carrot. And then what happens is that you get a spike, but then it dips because we're not actually tackling the actual mindset around the behavior around a certain movement, right? So it's kind of going, oh, quick, the boss wants us to push, and then you take the foot off the gas, and then your results keep yo-yoing, right? And so that's what I really got into, and that's what I'm really excited about helping businesses with, is flipping it and going, let's start from the bottom. What do your people believe about your customer? What do people believe about your product? And how do we now marry that together so that we can, when we're showing up for the customer, that is what we're putting out there, because then that's where your results start to grow, and then they don't dip, they start to go this way, right? And they just continue to climb. So that's what I help my customers with, is to flip the script basically. And
just on that, just if I can react to that, I love what you're doing, and I love how you're doing it from bottom up. I don't want to derail your great point, but very quick point that supports what you're saying. When I finished in the government, I got a job in the military, which was when I finished in the military, I got a job in corporate working in technical sales, and I was really, really good at it, right? Because I did exactly what you said. All I did was just work with customers and help them, and took it from there. Then I remember we had this idiot, so typical, great company, by the way. Then we had this restructuring with this new idiot boss that came in, and he was like the sales superstar, and we're all losers, and this guy was awesome. You know where the story's going, Nicole, right?
Yes.
And what he did was he put all these ridiculous sales targets on us, and a lot of people actually lost sales and upset customers. And one time and unfortunately the guy's name was Eddie. He had the same name as me, which is right? I was very ashamed of that. My name was Eddie at the time. Anyway, he said, I once said to him, look, you're a sales superstar. How on earth do you sell? How do you do it? And he sort of put himself up on a pedestal and put me down there like, well, Eddie, I just know better than you because I'm just better looking and smarter. And I said, okay, take me to one of my customers and show me how it's done. So I set up a meeting with one of our customers, and the guy was a high-end technical manager for an airline. He'd be on at least $700K a year, this guy, right?
Wow. Yep.
And he liked me. And I once took this guy in, and it was a bit like, the client is like the adult in the room, and my boss was a complete moron trying to manipulate this guy. And what he did was, the meeting went so badly, this guy actually threw us both out of his office, and he pointed at my boss, Eddie, don't you come back. Eddie, you're welcome back anytime, but don't bring that Eddie with you. Get out, right?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, wow.
Now, the reason why I told you that story, it's exactly what you said. So we were doing we were just doing bottom up, helping customers, and this moron came in basically saying, you got to get all these results now. And they just fabricated the results out of nowhere. Tell us more about that, because you're making me really reflect on this experience.
It's just interesting because I think when I call KPIs Hakuna Matata, right? They're in the past. Like when you get a KPI printed out, it's already happened, right? You can't change the result. It's done and dusted. So it's kind of going, we base decisions on a metric that we're trying to change the dial on, but it's going, okay, well, why is it the result going in this direction? Let's understand the story behind it, because that is the key. And like you said, it is about connection. Connection is what we crave as human beings. It's a human need, right? So it's kind of going, if you're trying to connect with a customer authentically and genuinely, then it has to be based on the philosophies of what you're selling, the philosophies of and the culture within the organization. And I guess that's where I'll absolutely praise Flight Centre for that, because the philosophies that we used to live by were about that, right? It's about our people, it's about our customer, which then equals profit. Profit wasn't first, right? It was philosophy number one was people, customer, profit. And it was just kind of going, that comes first. It has to be that equation. And I think the more and more you surround yourself in that mindset of going, hey, if I didn't have a customer, I wouldn't have a job. So how do I connect with my customer? Why are they coming to me? How can I help them? And then ultimately, when you really do the work in the belief space and the behavior space, because the behavior, if you look at the middle is the secret sauce, right? That's the secret. If you can get the behavior right, because we all know how long it takes to create a habit, right? At least 18 to 270 odd days to create a proper habit. If you're investing, there you go. If you're investing in the behavioral change, that creates systemic long-term change, not sugar hits on sugar highs, right? So, you know, and I always relate, you know, you and I, we have talked on length about this, but, you know, we've been on a health kick journey, right? It's going, how many times have we been on a diet? The result we want is we want to lose kilos. Great. But if we don't make the actual behavioral changes and do things that we don't normally do, you know, so we have to go do our 20,000 steps. We need to change what we eat. We need to change the times that we eat if that's what works for us. Right. Whereas we didn't do that before, and we might have done it for a little bit, but then it got hard, and then we put it out the way because that's how we're designed to be. It was just, it's protection mode. That's not what I'm used to, and it feels uncomfortable and icky. So I'm just going to go back to comfortable. And so companies are doing the same thing. You know, that's not how we do things. That's how, you know, we always do it this way. Not open to trying different things. If you don't try different things, you're just going to get the same result. So that's kind of like the ethos of why, as you can hear, I'm super passionate about it. I just think that there's so many, we're just sitting in that old school mindset where we've got to freshen it up a bit and go, you know what, why not just try something different? Let's just see what happens. And, you know, let's think a bit differently from the customer's perspective and what happens in that space, you know?
Oh, well said. I just want to say to our fans out there, thank you for watching. If you're watching live of the recording, big thank you. We got heaps of people watching. Two of them I can see is Sushi. Sushi's a great friend of ours who showed us some love on Facebook, and Mohammed, good seeing you. If you come in, like, share, comment, say hello. If you've got any questions for us, let us know. So I love it, Nicole. You're helping me close some of the trauma from my past. But I'll never forget this, and I'm going to say moron. The guy was a moron, right? And I just remember I was doing what you said, basically working with customers, helping people. And this moron was just trying to squeeze dollars out of people on the top. And my very smart client he would not have it. He knew the game this idiot was playing, and he just threw us out of his office.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
awesome.
That's so good. That's what a good feeling of going, hey, you know what? My method actually works. You've got to actually genuinely give a crap about your people, you know, and your customer.
And 3 months later, I left the company and got a great promotion interstate. So there we go. It was really
there you go. See, there you go. Amazing. So good.
I love it. So Nicole, so I was going to ask you as well, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the biggest problems you're dealing with today? So when clients come and hire you, what's often their top one or two problems that they need your help in solving?
Yeah. So a lot of them are trying to fill their funnel. So a lot of them are like, we need more customers. We need more customers, which is fine. So they kind of really focus on the marketing side of things. But what I find is generally when I work with someone, I do a couple of mystery calls and I try and understand, well, what's going on? So if you've got the funnel starting to fill, how are we converting? You know, where's our actual true conversion at? So, you know, a lot of the times when I do the mystery calling or the mystery shopping, it's really eye-opening, right? Like it's eye-opening. People are really good at knowing their product and they're knowing about what they're selling, but they don't sell it. So I find that there's a bit of
In what way don't they sell it? In what way don't they sell it?
I think they're still selling from your own checkbook, you know, like they're selling like it's their money, you know, like, oh, that's expensive. I'm not really sure if you really want that. Or they go to the lowest price. They won't give me the top dog price because they're like, oh, no, they're not going to go for that. It's like they've got these, and this is where the beliefs come in, right? And this is why it's so important to unearth those mindset stories that people tell themselves in their jobs every single day. Like, people are ringing about this deal. No one ever takes the top tier. I'm just going to offer them the lead-in price. You know, like they're those kind of beliefs that how do you know if you're not having a conversation with me and you're really knowing what's important to me? Because if you really had a conversation with me, you might really find that I'm happy to pay the top dollar, you know? So that's one big challenge. And then another challenge I find that people are coming to me with is like, why do I keep getting ghosted? Why do people not get back to me? Why do I, you know, why am I not, why they're not responding? You know, emails
like
are really hard to close.
It's like Tinder or something. You reach out to a sexy guy or girl, and then they start ghosting you, right?
Yeah, totally. And so it's kind of like going, you know, when you actually start to understand the sales process, for me, like the conversation section of the steps of the cycle is really about listening. Stop doing what you're doing. If you're on the computer and you've got a call, the sales call coming in, turn your screen off, do whatever. It's all about that customer, and you're listening for key things that they're saying about why they've called you and what's important to them. And once you actually understand that, then you can put your expertise in place, because the more you know, what happens is your brain starts going, I know what to recommend for you now. I now know what you're going to love. And so that will help the ghosting, right? Because a lot of the time people ghost you because you haven't nailed it or you haven't connected with them. And so they're like, that's okay. I'm going to try somewhere else. And that's the whole belief about, they're just shopping around and wasting my time.
Yeah.
Here's my belief, Ed. Here's my belief. I believe that no one wakes up in the morning and goes, I think I'm just going to waste people's time today. I just don't believe that. Like if they get up and they Google you, or they've driven to your location, or they look you up, or whatever it is, they are serious. They're in some kind of a mode of buying, and whether they buy from you, that is up to you as the salesperson. So you either talk them into the sale or talk them out of the sale, and that is all what we can control. So that's my belief anyway.
One honorable mention you love. So I'm a LinkedIn certified consultant and also Microsoft partner over the years. And I've done a lot, I think I mentioned this one too. I've done a lot of the internal Microsoft sales training, right?
Yeah.
And again, this is more technical selling, mind you. But what they always say in Microsoft sales training, to any Microsoft partners out there, you may have heard this, is they teach you the number one question to ask is, so when you get, and this is more technical, mind you, but let's say I get a client in who's interested in LinkedIn or whatever. The first question I've been trained to ask is, what are you trying to do? And they say you got to say the word trying because you want customers to tell you how they failed. So it's not a matter of, hey, Ed, I've tried this and it hasn't worked out. Hey, Nicole, I've done this and it hasn't worked out. So I love that question, what are you trying to do? Because then people tell you how they failed and say, look, Ed, I've tried this on LinkedIn. I'm not getting anywhere. And then I can just listen and react to the key points.
Totally. And that's the other thing too around sales, right? It's going, we all buy with emotion. Sales is a reactive feeling, right? We want to feel, something that we've achieved something, gotten something, whatever that may be. And so it's kind of funny, like we're even in the words of saying, what do you think? That actually activates your left brain, which is your logic side, right? So thinking makes us think about what we have to think about. When you think about that, it's like instead of saying, what do you think? You say, what do you feel about that? And feel is now the right side. And so feel is, how does it make you feel? And it's just that flip of a word that actually can change that whole dynamic in that conversation. So it is really important to know the dynamics of language, tone, and all those things that actually really do make a difference when you're connecting with the customer.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it. I love it. I love it. I had a really funny one the other day, actually. And I like to always put it back on people if they give me a hard time in sales. So I had this one character coming to our meetup on Friday in Melbourne, which is really cool. And they rang me up and they're a little bit aggressive, right? I only just met this person. They rang me up and they're very much like, Ed, if I come to your meetup on Friday, what am I going to get out of it? And their tone wasn't quite what I found acceptable, right? If you know what I'm saying. So I retorted to them and said, well, it's not about really what you're going to get out of the event. It's more how you're going to contribute to it. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And the moment I said that, this person totally changed their tact of conversation. They went from challenging me to being a lot more nicer and reasonable.
Yeah.
And I find it funny every now and then. Sometimes you enter a sales conversation, people are in that challenge mode.
Totally. We hate being sold to, Aussies. We hate it.
Yeah, and I don't take it. I don't have it. I'm just like, no. And usually they pick up on my, it's not going to work on this guy. They get that vibe from me. So
totally.
When someone's challenging you or being a bit of a you know what, how do you push back on people like that in a polite way? How do you do it?
In a sale, you mean? Like if they're...
So let's say you got a sales call coming in, they're being a bit annoying to you. How do you push back on them and sort of... how do you do it?
I'll give you a great one. So in the travel industry at the moment, travel agents are really struggling or have a challenge around people saying around like, well, what's your, like, do you earn commission on that? Does that mean you can knock that back? So it's like, can you cut your commission back so I can get a discount? Right? Yeah. That happens a lot. A lot of people say that. And so, or if they have a service fee, like the agent feels a little bit like, oh, I really don't know how to say that I have a service fee. Because then once, again, this is a belief. If they say it, then the customer's not going to want to pay it. But it's kind of going, I think when it comes to sales, when you're confident about what you know and that you are the subject matter expert, go for it, right? And, and you've got to lean into different styles. So, for example, and I know you'll know this, but in disc style, right, when you have someone who's compliant and they come to you and they've like done all the research on all the airlines that are around, and I reckon this is probably a little bit of you, Ed, but it's like you look at all the airlines, all the seating, everything where it is. Probably not that technical because you've probably just flown it and done it anyway. But like they come to you with a spreadsheet and they like it's all mapped out and it's all technical. And someone who's not that way of thinking might look at that and go, oh God, this is obnoxious, but don't look at it like that. Look at it and lean into going, okay, well, if that's how they want to be talked to, talk to them in that way. This looks really great. I can see you've done so much research into this. Well done. This is fantastic. I know I can get this deal. I know I can do this for you. I know I can do this and this and this. Fantastic. How is it if I book an appointment for tomorrow night? We come in and we talk about it. We get it all locked in. All I need from you then is to pay, do this, do that, done. And that's really when it comes down to expectations. So I have a lovely equation. It's called know plus manage equals meet. So a lot of the times we get cross when expectations are not met, and we sit there and we gripe about it like, oh, it's bullshit, they don't do this and they don't do that. But really, when you look back and go, did they really know the expectation that I was having? Do they know my expectations? And do I know their expectations? Is that clear? Because if that's not clear, that's why they're not meeting. That's why expectations aren't met. If I know them and they know them, am I managing them? Am I managing them in a right way? And really setting the expertise in place, because otherwise if I'm not managing it, then I'm not meeting it. So the know plus manage is really important to really understand when you're selling or talking to clients, is to really go, are they sure? Am I sure that they know what my expectations are? And what are their expectations? Am I managing those expectations? Are they realistic or unrealistic? Because I need to maybe bring them into line. And then I know I can meet them and I can meet theirs. So it's a really good one. And so when you have difficult customers, I just reflect on my own self and go, maybe I didn't understand their expectations probably. And that's why I'm not meeting their expectations, or they're not meeting mine.
Yeah. Love it. Well said, Nicole. You are a pro. And I just want to say a big thank you to our fans across the world watching. Please connect with amazing Nicole O'Sullivan on LinkedIn. I just want to say, Nicole, we better finish up shortly. We're coming up to half an hour. What are some of your closing thoughts and great tips you want to leave with our legendary international audience?
Sure thing. Well, first of all, thank you for everyone listening and watching, and thanks, Ed, for having me on. So, legend. I think for me, it's really just being a bit open to being challenged when it comes to doing things or seeing things from a different perspective. I think if we've done the job the same over and over, be open to having a little bit of a different view. Because sometimes when we just get stale and we do the same thing, you're just going to bang your head up against the wall. And that's generally when they get to me, right? They get to me because they're like, okay, my head's sore because I've been banging into the wall so many times. And so for me, it's kind of going, let's really, let's just go back to remembering that what you believe is what you achieve. And when you put it out there and you say the stories to yourself, that's your outcome. So how can I help you guys really pull out those roadblocks that are our own internal dialogues, and how do we create new habits and behaviors that we lock into place, and we practice and we practice and we practice to get incredible results that you probably thought was never possible. Like, I have been able to flip businesses in less than 90 days from a 5% conversion to over 45% conversion, like that quick. It's instantaneous. So it's, I love it. It's so empowering when you can be able to be a little bit more open and willing to, just try new things.
Love it. Love it. And just before we go, just a bit about you. So you're based in the beautiful city of Melbourne, where I'm originally from, in Australia. And you do a lot of sales coaching and training. You've got a mastermind group coming up as well. Tell us something about the initiatives you've got cooking up down there, Nicole.
Sure thing. I have a series of masterclasses that we're going to be running. We're going to do it for the first 6 months, and then hopefully it'll look at doing into an actual program of a good 12 or so months. So I'm pairing up with a mastermind and business coach who's been in the industry 40 years. So together with his business coaching and my sales coaching, together we've crafted these incredible masterclasses around how to really pivot your business. So it's really about going, is your foundation really laid solidly? It doesn't matter if you're a startup, doesn't matter if you've been in business a little while. It really caters for every type of business. So that's really exciting. That's coming in October, which is fantastic. So stay tuned for my post for that. I'd love you to, if you're in Melbourne, come along. I promise you it'll be 90 minutes of breakfast warming in your tummy and in your mind, that we will absolutely be able to give you some really good golden nuggets to be able to implement straight away into your business. So that's coming. And then really, honestly, Ed, you can work with me anywhere. I currently have quite a few USA clients that I work with, that we do online training. We do a lot of Zoom calls and coaching and mentoring. I've flown all over the country. I've over to the UK and Ireland. Doesn't matter where. It's, yeah, you need me, I'll be there.
Oh, that's why we love you, Nicole. And a big shout out to our fans, Tyson, Tanya, Saad, Miss Sushi, Muhammad, and everyone. Thank you for watching. Like, share, comment. Nicole, thank you so much. Just before we finish, can we get a final closing thought from you, Nicole?
Oh, look, you know what? Be open to any customer. No one's wasting your time. Give them a crack. Ask great questions. Really care about them, and you'll just be surprised what happens.
Oh, love it. You heard from Nicole. Nicole, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Love your work and stay awesome all. Appreciate you.